The transmission was old, so old that most within the Galactic Council considered it nothing more than an ancient curiosity. It had been intercepted more than 6 centuries ago, back when Earth was still struggling with primitive chemical rockets. The signal carried no encryption, no attempt at diplomacy. Just a single clear message broadcast across the void, translated into every known galactic tongue by automated human algorithms. Do not trespass into Sol. Do not touch Earth. This is your first and last warning. At the time, the message was laughed at. The primitive world of humans, struggling with pollution, internal wars, and fragile technology, dared to warn the galaxy? The arrogance was absurd. Records of the broadcast were archived, and for generations, the Council dismissed humanity as an insignificant race confined to their death world. But time erodes caution. When resources ran dry in the outer rims, the Council authorized an expedition to Earth. Sol was catalogued as a system of rich mineral belts, fertile planets, and a world brimming with organic wealth. To the war-hardened fleets of the Threxian hegemony, humanity was not a threat, merely an obstacle. They did not remember the warning. They came with ships vast enough to blot out the stars, descending upon the blue-green planet. They expected resistance, small fleets, orbital cannons perhaps, but what they found was silence. Earth's orbit was strangely empty. Cities below gleamed with light, but no defenses stirred. The fleet commander, Admiral Caver, broadcast his amusement across every channel. Primitive cowards, he sneered. They hide like insects before the fire. Deploy harvesting drones. The sky filled with swarms of mechanical locusts, descending through atmosphere, preparing to rip apart Earth's oceans, forests, and cities. Then the silence broke. The first human ship emerged from the shadow of the moon. It was not sleek like council vessels, nor ornate like hegemony warcruisers. It was a jagged beast of steel, blackened and scarred, its surface bristling with weapons. No transponder, no markings, only a cold, silent hull. The Threxian fleet laughed. One ship? Against hundreds? And then the void ripped open. Cloaked signatures shimmered into reality. One ship became 10. 10 became hundreds. 1,000 human warships unfolded from the darkness, as if the stars themselves had turned hostile. They surrounded the invaders in a perfect, merciless sphere. The Threxian laughter died. Impossible, Admiral Caver whispered, mandibles trembling. The humans, they... The words never finished. The black warships moved with terrifying precision, unleashing barrages of weapons no alien had ever seen. Beams of compressed matter tore through shields like paper. Missiles that bent space itself slipped past defenses to bloom in silent, annihilating fire. Entire cruisers vanished before they could return fire, reduced to molten wreckage drifting in vacuum. It was not war. It was execution. The Threxian fleet tried to retreat, but space itself betrayed them. Human interdiction fields locked the system down, snapping ships out of warp before they could escape. Each attempt was met with swift destruction. Within an hour, the hegemony's greatest fleet was nothing but burning wreckage orbiting Earth. But humanity was not finished. The humans did not rebuild quietly. They did not forgive. The moment the last invader was destroyed, the Black Fleet reassembled in formation. Its bows turned outward, engines burning with cold fury. They did not remain to guard Earth, they launched into the stars. Word spread across the galaxy like wildfire. Refugee signals screamed of fleets vanishing into the void, of human warships pursuing survivors across light years. Outposts reported strange shadows in the dark, ships that never appeared on scanners until it was too late. Entire colonies burned before distress signals could be answered. The humans were hunting. Council sessions turned to chaos. Every envoy screamed for answers, demanding to know how a once primitive race had become a predator civilization armed with nightmare fleets. Some claimed humanity had bargained with machines, others whispered of dark science pulled from forbidden dimensions. None could explain the truth. One archivist dared to stand before the chamber, clutching a centuries-old data crystal. He replayed the forgotten transmission, the very warning dismissed so long ago. The voice was old, human, resolute. Do not trespass into Sol. Do not touch Earth. This is your first and last warning. The chamber fell into silence. They had been warned. And now humanity enforced their promise with a cruelty that defied reason. They did not claim territory. They did not negotiate peace. They left no survivors. For every world that aided the invasion, the humans came, descending in shadows, erasing cities and fleets alike until nothing remained but silence and ash. The galaxy realized too late that humanity had never been weak. They had hidden, watching, waiting, building their fleets in secret while the council mocked their warning. Now they were no longer defending. They were hunting. And they would not stop until the last trespasser was gone. The forgotten transmission was not arrogance. It was prophecy. The Caerwhale Dominion had always prided itself on conquest. Their fleets stretched across 100 star systems, their banners planted on the husks of worlds they had stripped bare. They were predators in every sense, ruthless, efficient, and merciless. When the first humans made contact, the Caerwhale were almost disappointed. The stories they had heard painted humans as fierce creatures from a violent death world, capable of impossible survival. Yet what they found were fragile bipeds with soft flesh and brittle bones, armed with technology centuries behind the Dominion's might. Pathetic. When human envoys came before the Dominion's high chamber, pleading for peace, the Caerwhale overseer had laughed. Your people live because we permit it. Serve us and perhaps some of you may survive. Within a decade, human colonies beyond Sol were enslaved. Millions were shipped to labor camps on Caerwhale industrial worlds. They were worked until their bones broke, their bodies discarded like refuse. The overseer was pleased. Another race bent to their will, another trophy in the long history of Caerwhale supremacy. But then, the humans began to vanish. At first it was small things. Entire labor convoys disappearing into the void. Colonies found abandoned overnight, tools still warm, meals half-eaten on tables as if the people had simply melted into the dark. The overseer dismissed it as rebellion. Let them run. They will starve without our control. Yet the disappearances continued. Entire mining fleets ceased to report in. Patrol ships vanished between systems, their last transmissions garbled with static and screams. And then the whispers began. Survivors, few, broken, trembling, spoke of black warships in the dark. Vessels that appeared without warning, weapons blazing, silent and merciless. They did not broadcast demands. They did not ask for surrender. They destroyed. And when their work was done, they left nothing but drifting wreckage. The overseer laughed it off, though unease flickered in his compound eyes. They are scavengers, nothing more. Let them taste our fleets and be crushed. The Dominion sent armadas to hunt these phantom ships. Not a single one returned. For the first time in Caerwhale history, fear began to ripple through the Dominion's worlds. Refugees poured in from border systems, whispering of human vengeance, of being hunted like prey, of the eyes of predators watching from the black. Still, the overseer would not believe it. Until the humans came for him. The assault began at the Dominion's heart. The homeworld, Krylos Prime, boasted the greatest defenses in the galaxy. Shields layered thick across orbit. Fleets patrolling the skies. Ground cannons that could tear apart asteroids. No enemy had ever pierced its walls. But the humans did not arrive with warnings. The night sky split open. Hundreds of dark shapes unfolded from the void, their hulls jagged and silent. Before the Caerwhale could react, the bombardment began. Beams of impossible energy sliced through shields like paper. Towers of defense crumbled in seconds. Fleets scrambled to respond, but their formation was shattered before they could fire a shot. Panic consumed Krylos Prime. Civilians fled underground, commanders screamed into comms, and the overseer watched in horror as his empire's crown jewel burned in fire. He saw it himself, the face of his enemy. Through a shattered viewport of his citadel, he glimpsed a human warship hovering above the capital, its hull black as void, its weapons glowing with restrained fury. And in that moment he understood. The humans were not fighting for freedom. They were not waging war for survival. They were hunting. One by one, Dominion worlds fell. The humans moved like predators stalking prey, striking with perfect precision, then vanishing before reinforcements could arrive. No world was spared, not military outposts, not civilian colonies, not even pleasure worlds. The humans did not negotiate. They did not occupy. They simply erased. The overseer begged the council for aid, but no one answered. The galaxy remembered the warnings, the old logs that spoke of humanity's savage resilience, of their death world nature. The Caerwhale had ignored them. They had mocked them. And now no one would save them. The Dominion collapsed in less than a decade. What had taken centuries to build was undone in a storm of fire and silence. The overseer fled to the far edge of the galaxy, hiding in a nameless system, clinging to life in the shadows. He thought himself safe. Forgotten. Until one night his sensors went dark. His guards screamed over comms, one by one falling silent. And then, through the viewport of his hidden fortress, he saw it. A single human warship hovering silently above his world. Its hull bore no markings. Its weapons were not even raised. It simply waited. The overseer's mandibles trembled. He understood then that his time had ended. That the predator had become the prey. That the humans had not come for peace, nor conquest, nor vengeance alone. They had come to finish the hunt. And when his fortress burned, no one in the galaxy mourned. The Carewell dominion, once proud and ruthless, was erased from history, not by conquest, but by predators far older in instinct than they had ever imagined. The galaxy whispered a single truth in the wake of their extinction. Humans do not forgive. Humans do not forget. And when ignored, their warnings become death sentences. Long before the wars, before the fires and ash, a warning had been given. It came from the Vor, an old and cautious race that had once traded with the humans, long before the Council declared them irrelevant. The Vor told their allies, "Do not provoke them. Do not harm them. Humans remember everything." The warning was laughed away. Humanity was small. Humanity was weak. A death world race perhaps, but one confined to its cradle, scrabbling with crude weapons while greater empires carved the galaxy. So when the coalition of nine empires bound by ambition, decided Earth was ripe for conquest, no one opposed them. The Vor refused to participate, but their protests were drowned beneath laughter. The war began with fire raining from the sky. Earth's cities burned. Oceans boiled. Billions perished as fleets of the nine carved Sol into ruin. The Council declared victory. Humanity was broken, their homeworld scarred and silent. Or so they believed. Decades passed. The galaxy moved on. The nine congratulated themselves, expanding into other territories, forgetting the humans they had crushed. The Vor alone remembered the warning, their hearts heavy with dread. And then, the stars began to go dark. It started small. Patrols lost. Convoys missing. Outposts found silent, their defenses offline, their populations gone without trace. At first, the nine suspected one another. Accusations flew, treaties strained. But then survivors began to whisper of shadows in the void. Of ships that appeared from nowhere, black and cold, moving with predatory silence. Human ships. The nine laughed at first, until their fleets began to vanish. Whole squadrons erased without a single distress call. Stations cut off mid-broadcast, their last words choked with static and terror. It was not war. It was pursuit. The humans did not broadcast messages. They did not announce their return. They hunted. Each fleet, each world, each colony that had raised a hand against them was stalked, cornered, and annihilated. The Vor sent desperate messages to the nine. "We warned you." They do not forgive. They do not forget. But pride deafened the empires. The humans came in greater numbers, their fleets vast and silent, built in exile and hidden for decades. Their weapons were not of defense. They were perfected instruments of extermination. Missiles that bent gravity, beams that tore matter apart molecule by molecule, drones that slipped through shields and shredded ships from within. One by one the nine began to collapse. The Drax Confederacy fell first, their fleets ambushed in the nebulae they had once claimed as strongholds. The Zerati Empire followed, its twin suns dimmed by bombardments so vast that light itself seemed to fade. Each death added to the terror of the survivors, who fled deeper into their own borders, only to find the humans waiting. The humans had patience. They had memory. And above all they had hunger. By the time the nine realized the truth, it was too late. The humans were not seeking victory. They were not interested in treaties or peace. They were not at war anymore. They were on a hunt. The overseer of the Korth Alliance, one of the nine, stood before his council in despair. "We thought they fought for survival," he said. "But they fight for something far worse. They fight to erase. They fight to make certain no one who touched their home lives to tell the tale." His words were drowned in silence. No one argued. They all knew the truth. The last coalition of the nine gathered their fleets. Thousands of ships, the largest armada in galactic history. They believed numbers would crush the humans, that sheer firepower would overwhelm even predators. The battle was joined near the Orion Rift. It lasted less than a day. Human fleets appeared from every vector, their formations precise, their strategy flawless. They moved like hunters circling prey, cutting off escape, driving the coalition ships into killing fields. One by one the ships of the nine were destroyed, their screams echoing across comms until silence claimed them all. When the battle ended, the rift was filled with wreckage and drifting corpses. The humans did not claim victory. They did not even linger. They simply turned and vanished back into the dark, leaving the galaxy in terror. The Vor were the last to speak the truth aloud. Their elder council recorded the final warning, spreading it across the stars. Humans are patient. Humans are predators. They will wait decades, centuries if needed. But they never forgive. They never forget. If you strike them, they will hunt you until the last of you is gone. The galaxy listened now, but too late. Of the 9, only scattered remnants remained, hiding in forgotten corners, praying the humans would overlook them. But the humans did not overlook. They pursued. Always. The endless pursuit, the survivors called it. A shadow that never lifted, a hunger that never faded. The humans had remade themselves not into conquerors, but into hunters eternal. And so the galaxy remembered at last the truth of the warning once ignored. Humanity does not stop. Humanity does not forgive. Humanity does not forget. And when their hunt begins, it never ends.